Good evening. Hello. It's cloud. Second thing we have learned, that is why we need to go to the cloud. Second point. Disadvantages. Point. That is types of cloud. Yes. That is private, public, both types of services. Stories. Service. So these things we learned yesterday. Any notes, any questions of the yesterday session? If you have any doubts, any questions, just ask. Otherwise, we start the next thing. Mostly, I think we have clear this last session in detail, but if anyone have any doubts, otherwise we start. So yesterday, what we have completed? Yesterday, we have completed only SAS, software as a services, infrastructure and platform. We have not completed. So what we learn. Infrastructure as a service. So yes, please explain what is IS? What is going in your mind? What is IS? What is infrastructure as a service in cloud computing terms? If you know anything regarding this, please give me the answer on chat. Then after that, I will explain in details. What if yesterday we have learned what is software as a service in detail, and today we learn infrastructure as service and platform as a service. So what is going on in your mind? What is infrastructure as service and why we need Okay, so very good, correct. Everyone is correct. Try to give them. Server is only working inside of particular infrastructure. Very good. The service which provides infrastructure. The infrastructure, the service will provide by the cloud. Right. So infrastructure is a service. It is a service given by the cloud provider, that is AWS or Microsoft Azure. So infrastructure service means is a cloud computing offering in which a vendor provides users access to computing resources such as storage, networking, and servers. Organizations use their own platform and application within a service provider infrastructure. This is a theoretical definition, but in practical definition, what is an infrastructure as a service? That is, for example, suppose this is your infrastructure. Suppose your company is abc.com, and when you go to the cloud, then whatever the things you purchase or whatever the service you purchase from the cloud provider, for example, you purchase server, you purchase machine, local machine, Windows machines, Linux machine, any machines. That is a normal desktop machine or servers or network or storage. That is your infrastructure. So AWS, the cloud service provider, will provide you the infrastructure. That is, this infrastructure is physically presented in their data center, but they will provide you the access. They will provide you the access to log in. They will provide you the access to deploy your software, deploy your applications. They will give you the access to use your applications. So this is called the infrastructure as a service. So I'm single line definitions I will write down. So you also write down if you have taken a notepad or write down in your laptop or anywhere. So what is infrastructure as a service? Yes, that is. So this. AAS, that is full name, infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure service, and single line definition is infrastructure service is a cloud computing offering in which vendor means AWS. Here is the AWS. If you go to the Microsoft, then Microsoft Azure is a vendor in which vendor provides users access to resources. Resources means either your laptop, means Windows machine, or server, or network, or storage, anything. Access to computing resources such as storage, networking, and servers. Servers. Okay, so any questions in this definition? Infrastructure as a service is a cloud computing offering in which vendor provides users access to computing resources such as storage, networking, and servers. So you don't need to physically purchase storage, you don't need to physically purchase networking, and you don't need to physically purchase server. You only need to purchase services. Services for storage, services for networking, services for server. So rental on rental basis. Simple word, if you say that is it is a rental basis. Whatever the services you purchase from AWS, they will charge for that in an hourly basis. So we need to purchase storage from hourly basis, networking and service. So we only purchase a services. So infrastructure as a service, it is a service that is a cloud computing offering in which vendor provides users access to computing resources such as storage, networking, and servers. And the second point also, just if you want in detail, then just write down these points. So it is an important definition. I'm only writing, I'm not writing in a detail or so 3 to 2 pages, 2 to 3 pages definition. The only single line definitions I have written here. Organization, platform, and application within service provider providers infrastructure. What's the meaning of this? Organization use their own platform and application within a service provider infrastructure. Meaning of that, that is, for example, if they will provide a Windows Server 2012, Windows Server 2016, then if you want to deploy Exchange on that, you deploy. If you want, if you don't need to deploy, if you want a Microsoft services that is Office 365 service, then you take a Microsoft Office 365 service. But if you want to deploy on Exchange on that, yes, you deploy on that. They will give you the server, then whatever your requirement that you will work, that we will deploy according to your requirements. So organization use their own platform and application within a service provider infrastructure. For example, if I need to deploy Microsoft Exchange in on-premises or mail services in on-premises, so what I need to do, I take a purchase from Windows Server 2016, I purchase Exchange licenses, and I want to deploy Exchange in Windows Server 2012. So no need to purchase, no need to physical hardware, only we just rent on the hardware. We need a subscription for Windows Server, and we need to only deploy. We need to only install according to our requirement, according to organization requirement. So this is the definition, simple definitions. If anyone asks what is an infrastructure service, infrastructure service is a cloud computing offering in which vendor provides user. Vendor means AWS or Microsoft or Google. Vendor provides user access to computing resources such as storage, networking, and servers. Organization use their own platform and application within a service provider. In fact, just right now, if you complete it, just give yes. So I will give you the features of this infrastructure. Just give me the on chat that is I have completed. So okay, very good. Any if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, just ask me in chat also. Or if you want to call me, then call me on this Zoom call also. No issues. So we have completed. So we just delete this. Next thing is today I will show you the private cloud and public cloud. All the day session, every session we will work on a public cloud only. But today I will show you what is a private cloud, how data center work. So before that, your concept will be clear, theoretical concept will be clear. So we go to the practical level. Features. Features of this. First, instead of purchasing hardware, right? A or yes. What What is the meaning of this? Instead of purchasing hardware from outside, users pay for IS on demand. What is the meaning of this? That is meaning of this. That is, for example, yesterday also I have explained that is for example of file server. For example, whatever your requirement, that only you need to that amount to the AWS. For example, currently, if you want only 100 GB space, so you need to pay only 100 amount of 100 GB. If in future, if after 1 week, after 1 month, if you want a 200 GB, 500 GB, then you pay 500 GB amount, 500 GB space amount to the AWS. So it is a scalable. So users pay for IS on demand. In when your server is in on-premises, then it is not possible. You need to prepare one sheet, you need to discuss, IT team will discuss, and they will discuss hardware things from 1 year or 6 months. Whatever our requirement in 6 months, whatever our requirement in 1 year, then according to that, IT team will purchase everything. But in cloud computing and AWS or Microsoft Azure, instead of purchasing hardware from outside, users pay for infrastructure as a service on demand. So whatever things you need, that is on demand basis. This is the first thing. Second point, infrastructure is scalable and storage. What is the meaning of this? Same thing. Infrastructure is scalable. Scalable means depend upon your requirement, it will increase. Depend upon your requirement, it will decrease. It is not that every time it will increase only. For example, if your current company is currently want 100 GB space or 1 TB space, and after 1 week only we need that is 50 GB space. So we need to decrease also. Infrastructure is scalable depending on processing and storage needs. Third is saves the price, cost of buying, maintaining, what is the meaning of this? Anyone please explain? Try to explain. Saves enterprise the cost of buying and maintaining their own hardware. What is the meaning of this? Just please explain. The third point. Saves enterprise the cost of buying and maintaining their own hardware. Just try to mean 1 or 2 sentences. What is the meaning of this? Can anyone share the link of app? No need to buy any hardware. No need to buy any hardware. That is 50%. Saves enterprise the cost of buying and maintaining. What is the maintaining their own hardware? What is the maintaining? What is the maintenance of hardware in IT? Can you explain what is the maintenance of hardware in IT? It's a basic thing. Just try to explain. I know you know everything. You people also know this thing, but please explain in a single sentence or 2 sentences. What is the maintenance? No need to purchase any new hardware for existing application to move cloud, right? It's correct. But maintenance, what is the maintenance? I want one word, maintenance. What is the maintenance? Upgradation and patches. Very correct. Very good. This is a correct. Upgradation and patches. Avoid quarterly health checkup. Very good. Yes. So maintenance means what? That is, for example, if you purchase, if you deploy any Windows Server 2012, so no need to upgrade the patches. Microsoft release patches every month. So if your server is present in on-premises, so you need to check that is your patches is updated properly or not. If any patches is failed, so try to find the reason. If the antivirus is not updated, try to find the reason why the antivirus is not updated in this laptop, why this antivirus is not updated in the server, which version antivirus is currently installed on these machines or different machines or server. So this is a very hard work for IT people. Mostly time consuming work, this thing, that is maintenance. So electricity maintenance, then physical, some RAM is not working, hard disk is not working, network cable is not working. So these type of maintenance, there is no need to do this type of maintenance. So cloud provider, AWS, will maintain all the things for you. You only need to give the amount, whatever the service you are purchasing from them. So saves enterprise the cost of buying and maintaining their own hardware. This is the third point. Very important point I am writing here. Fourth is because data is on the cloud, there can be no single point of failure. Because data is in the cloud, there can be no single point of failure. What is the meaning of this? Because data is in the cloud, there can be no single point of failure. If the data is not on the cloud, then how we can maintain our data? Anyone give the answer? Anyone know the answer of this? That is, if data is not on the cloud, then how will maintain our data? How will maintain the data for failures? The backup, very good. Anyone knows types of backup? If not, how many types of backup? If you give an answer, very good. Otherwise, no issues. Very good. So there are mostly incremental backup, then referential, differential backup, daily backup, full backup. There are four types of backup. Red is a types of hardware mirroring. Red. Incremental backup, daily backup, full backup, differential backup. So these type of backup, I will not go in a detail because that is a different type, incremental backup, right? So these are things previously when the server present in an on-premises server. So we are using this type of backup, incremental backup. We are using a HP tape and then mount that tape in a tape drive. Then we take an incremental backup. One IT person goes to the data centers or where the server is hosted, physically hosted, or by remote also we are doing that. If there is a semantic backup, with the help of that semantic backup, we'll take an incremental backup, set the differential backup, or daily backup, full backup. So these type of things. But when the data is on the cloud, there can be no single point of failure because their headache, they will mount the data from the one copy from Mumbai location, so second copy maybe Chennai location or another country location, depend upon how you design your company environment in cloud. So data is on the cloud, so there can be no single point of failure because they have to back up your data in a regular basis. Means mirror means copy, one copy goes to the another data centers. So because data is in the cloud, there can be no single point of failure. The fifth point is enables the virtualization. Enable the virtualizations of administrative tasks. The what? The meaning is enables the virtualization of administrative tasks, free up time for other work. What is the meaning of this? Anyone try to explain this thing? What is the meaning? Enabling the virtualization of administrative tasks, freeing up time for other work. What is the meaning? Just try to explain in single line. What is the meaning of this? See, actually, if the data center is present in on-premises, IT team will check the patch. IT team is responsible for hardware failure. IT team is responsible for data backup. IT team is responsible for uptime or anything, any issues occurs in a hardware or as softwares or patching or antivirus update. So if this thing is done by AWS, this thing is done by cloud provider, then your IT team is free for this thing. So they will utilize their time for another activity. They will utilize time for some application upgradation or some different work. So enables the virtualization of administrative tasks. Administrative task is spelling wrong. Administrative task. Administrative task, freeing up time for other works. So this is an infrastructure. Any doubts and questions of this infrastructure as service? So please ask. Infrastructure is the management responsibility for the company start with the operating system layer and the provide ensure the ability and reliability of the infrastructure. So everything clear, that is what is infrastructure. Infrastructure is what? That is we go to the cloud provider, then you create a Windows server, then you create a desktop machine, then you create network, then you create a storage, and you pay amount for that. Resting maintenance part, data backup parts, uptime parts, then hardware failure parts, they will manage. You not need to manage this thing. They will manage, and you only pay for services that you are purchasing. So there is no question. Repeat fifth point. Enable the virtualization of administrative tasks, freeing up time for other. Enable the virtualization means what? That is when you give, when AWS will manage all the things, when AWS will manage your batching, when AWS will manage your upgradation, when AWS will manage your hardware failures, when AWS will manage your network failures, when AWS will manage your data backup. So if you don't spend time on this activity, then you will use your time for some another activity. That is the meaning of that. Enable the virtualization of administrative tasks, freeing up time for other work. Clear? Any question? Yes, say yes, no. If you have any doubts, no. Thank you. So this is the inference. Yesterday we in detail I showed software as a service. Today this is the infrastructure. The only one part is pending here, that is platform as a service or service related to service. We just delete this. That's yes. Please, I will try to explain what is platform as service. What is platform as service? Try to explain what is platform as a service. You know what is software as service, you know infrastructure as service, then what is platform as service? Yes. 2 minutes. Please explain what is platform as service. Yes, provides vendor cloud-based platform. Okay, and you try it. We'll get a platform to compute request. What is platform? AWS Elastic, Beanstalk, Exam, ClickBus, Azure. Yes, anyone try to explain what is platform as service? Just please try to give the answer. It's not so tough question. You just try, read, and give the answer. What is platform as service? Mostly answer is written in this sentence only. Platform as a service. You know what is service? You know platform. Platform as service. Just try to explain. Pay when you use. You pay for infrastructure only. You pay from software services. Okay. Platform will be provided like Java and all. See, platform as a service. Platform as a service is a cloud computing offering that provide users with a cloud environment in which they can develop, manage, and deliver application. What is the meaning of this? They can manage, deploy, and deliver the application. Means AWS will provide you servers. AWS will provide you platform. AWS will provide you network. AWS will provide you storage. Right? This comes from the infrastructure. Then after that, this platform, this Windows Server 2012, this Windows network, this any port you need to open, and any services you need to, that is a .NET frame if you want, for example, Java, any Java platform, and you want, so they will provide you all the platform. You can, with the help of that platform, you can develop your application, you can deploy your application, you can manage your application, you can deliver application. So when these things are coming, it is called as a platform as a service. So I'm writing in a single line definition. You just note down this thing. Platform as a service, PaaS, that is platform as a service. Cloud application. Line definition: platform as a service is a cloud environment in which they can develop. AWS can develop, manage, and deliver application. But in addition to storage and other computing resources, users are able to use a suite of pre-built tools. They are pre-built tools if they are already define any tools, if they are use any tools, pre-built tools to develop, customize, and test their own application. Just write on this thing. Then I will give you the features of this particular platform as service, their features. To complete, just write down yes. So we'll give you the features of this platform as service. Why we can use a platform as service. Just here. Yes. Features. Yes. Provides platform with tools. Test application environment. What is the meaning of this? Platform as service provides a platform with tools to test, develop, and host application in the same environment. Means AWS will provide you a platform with tools. They will provide you different tools also to test, develop, and host your application in the same environment. For example, if your application is supported by Windows, they will provide you Windows tool, they will provide you Windows server, they will provide you different platform to test, develop, and host. If the application is supported by Linux, so they will provide the Linux tool, they will provide the Linux platform, Linux OS. So these type of features also the service provider, this AWS or Microsoft Azure will provide. So you can test, deploy your application in that environment. Second, methods, organizations, focus, document, structure. The meaning of this enables organization to focus on development without having to worry about underlying infrastructure. For example, if your organization is trying to develop any applications, so you need to focus only to develop your applications. You know, not worry to infrastructure. That is how much RAM. For example, if you want a 10 GB RAM, for example, you want a 20 GB RAM, for example, you want a 40 GB RAM, you want any storage that is 100 GB storage, 1 TB storage, 2 TB storage. So don't worry about infrastructures. AWS will provide you a high-end server or according to your requirement. According to your requirement, they will provide you a RAM, they will provide you storage, they will provide you CPU. So only you need to focus to develop your applications. So enables organization to focus on development without having to worry about underlying infrastructure. Third thing is right, manage, provides, manage, security, systems, systems, software, backups. Providers manage security, operating systems, server software, and data. So they will manage all the things for you. Fourth is facilitates facilitates work even if we work more. Facilitates collaborative work even if team work remotely. Meaning is what? That is when we take a remote, when we're doing the applications on remote session, then also they will provide you all the features. So we will not see that is any different. That is we are not in on-premise servers, we are in on-premise data centers. That till now, but in short term, because so mostly half an hour we have completed, 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Okay. So any questions till now, what we have discussed? If you have any questions, please ask the question in chat or in call also. So any questions, any doubts till now, what we have discussed? Yes, no? So we'll just recap what we have discussed. So yes, we join late. So they will also know what we have discussed. In short term, we will discuss what we have discussed till now. And then I will give you some diagram, and in diagram, I will explain all the things again. Recap from yesterday, if possible. Yes, we should. We will recap everything. Or short, but not so much detail. But everything we will be covered. With reference to second point, what AWS will provide. Right. With reference to second point, AWS will provide you storage. AWS will provide you RAM. AWS will provide you servers. AWS will provide everything. AWS will provide you according to your requirement. You need to only focus to develop your application. Depend upon your application requirement, AWS will provide you. So see, actually recap parts, what we have learned till now and what I have explained you the things. So just recap little bit more and explain. And mostly you people will try to give the answer because this is a recap session. So what we have learned. What we have learned, first thing we have learned, that is what is cloud. Everyone say cloud, learn cloud. Cloud, there is a very good market in cloud. Today, IT world, cloud is very important. Learn cloud, learn AWS, learn Azure, learn Google Cloud. But question comes, what is cloud? So what is cloud? Yes, please try to give the answer. What is cloud? Yes, anyone? What is cloud? Yes, try to give the answer. What is cloud? No one? Renting service on internet. It's a cloud computing service. Right. So what is cloud? That is range of service delivered over the internet, right? It is a type of service delivered over the internet. So cloud is what? That is service provided by the internet by using the service provider. Whatever the services, whatever the hardware, whatever the RAM, whatever the storage, whatever the networking, whatever this service provider will provide you in your data center. You not need to purchase anything. You only purchase the services from them. And you only paid amount of them that whatever things you are purchasing. For example, if you are purchasing a 10 GB storage, then you only need to pay 10 GB storage amount. If in future, if after 10 days, if after 1 month, if you purchase 100 GB, if you want 100 GB storage, then you get 100 GB storage. So scalable features is present. The big features in cloud is scalable, on demand, scalable on demand. According to your demand, you need to scale your infrastructure. According to your demand, you decrease your infrastructure. The requirement, you increase your infrastructure. According to your demand, you increase or decrease. Depend upon your requirement, you increase or decrease, and you pay amount accordingly. So this is the cloud. Then second is why we go to the cloud. What we learn, that is why we go to the cloud. Why we go to cloud? It's an important question that mostly asked in interviews. Why we go to the cloud? Now we know what is cloud, but why we go to the cloud? Yes, and try to give the answer. Why we go to the cloud? Why we not go to the on-premises? Because it's a cost effective, right? It's 100% correct because it is a cost effective. Yes, please explain how the cost effective. It's a 100% correct answer. It is a cost effective because anyone want to give less price. Anyone reduce, any IT managers reduce their cost, infrastructure cost. But how? Reduce cost maintenance, easy to access. But how we can reduce the cost? If any interview, if you go to the interview and you say that it is reduce the cost, how? Because everything is managed by vendor, right? Because everything is managed by vendor, large storage system. So, right. So, no need to purchase any hardware. Correct. No need to purchase any hardware. 2 GB, 10 GB example, right? 2 GB, 10 GB example means scale up, scale down. That is the features, right? So, why we go to the cloud? That is, we go to the cloud because in cloud we not need to purchase any hardware, we not need to purchase any network, we not need to patch the server, we not need to adapt that is antivirus updated or not, we not need a downtime, we have not tension of downtime, we have not tension of backup. So everything will managed by the cloud provider. You only need to give the amount, the services you purchasing from that cloud provider. And the second important thing that is scalable features present in cloud. Scalable features mean that is there in 2 GB, 10 GB. That means, for example, currently if you want a 2 GB space, then you only paid for 2 GB. In future, if you want a 10 GB, then you only pay to 10 GB. Everything is changing on premises to virtual work after COVID. That way we can choose cloud. This is a very funny answer, but right. That is the thing is that for that reason we go to the cloud. On premises also previously we are doing the same thing on the on premises, whatever things we are doing on the cloud. But the thing is that in on premises cost matter. We need a big IT team. We need to bet. For example, if I want only 2 GB space, yesterday I had explained that is if your company need to, if your company give 100 GB space for every user, for example, 100 people, 100 user present in your company, and your IT team give 100 GB file server space for every user. But for example, Anmol only stored 2 GB space. Anmol only stored 2 GB file in their file server. So rest 98 GB space is wasted. For example, Anmol stored 2 GB space for 1 year. So 98 GB space is wasted for 1 year. But your IT team will already purchase 100 GB space for Anmol. So in cloud computing terms, in cloud providers, in AWS, we only pay 2 GB space to the provider. You do not need to pay, you miss your 98 GB space amount will be reduced. You save the 98 GB space amount. So this is the feature, this is the benefits of cloud. So that reason we go to the cloud. So why we go to the cloud? And next thing is we learn that is a types of cloud. One thing that is types of cloud. AWS is a vendor, right? Types of cloud. Or you say mostly not vendor is a simple vendor, is cloud provider. You the best answer is AWS is a cloud provider or service provider. Best answer service provider. AWS is a service provider because AWS provide you services. The types of cloud that is the first we learn that is private cloud. That is private cloud. Yes, I'm going to try to give the answer. What is private cloud? Yes, what is private cloud? One or two lines answer, not lengthy answer. What is private cloud? Limited users. Private cloud, limited users. Anyone? What is private cloud? Will get a dedicated service. People will purchase the services of the cloud. Anyone? Not for dedicated organization. On-premise deployment. On-premise deployment. On-premise deployment. That is a private cloud. Is a very good answer. On-premises deployment. Private cloud means what? That is, if your company have some secure things, or if your company have need that is you want a case in their data center, you want a dedicated server in their data center, you have some very restricted or some any dependencies, application dependencies things have or some any very secure things you want, and you not need to go in a cloud provider, you not need to give this thing to the cloud provider. In that case, is only you purchase a private cloud that is very secure. If you want, or if you not need to give this thing to the public cloud, then only you need to purchase a private cloud. And private cloud is a costly. It's not in comparison to public cloud or hybrid cloud. It's a costly. So what cloud provider is, or what service provider will give you the keys in their data center. They will give you space in their data center. They will give you some dedicated server in their data centers, and you can access that thing. So it is called as a private cloud. It is simple like a physical data centers, but cloud provider will give you their things in their dedicated data centers. So it is called as a private cloud. It is a costly. Second is public cloud. What is public cloud? Service offered either over the internet or private internet network, and only to select user instead of a general public. Public cloud, it's a in cost matter, it is very less public cloud. Second thing, that is whatever service you are purchasing from them, they will only charge for you. Mostly we'll work on the public cloud only when we go to the practical session. Mostly we will work on the public cloud only. Means what if you want a purchase service, if you want a purchase service for servers, purchase service for desktop machine, purchase service for networking, purchase service for storage. So we'll only pay that much amount. So it is called the public cloud. Third is called as a hybrid cloud. What is a hybrid cloud? Hybrid cloud, the name indicates what is hybrid cloud. Yes, what is hybrid cloud? In one or two line answer, what is hybrid cloud? Combination of public, but why you company want hybrid cloud? Right, combination of both private and public cloud is called the hybrid cloud, 100% correct. But why hybrid cloud? Anyone try to give the answer? Why hybrid cloud? Hybrid is a combination of public and private, right? It's 100% correct. Hybrid is a combination of public. But why? Why I want purchase hybrid cloud? Connect cloud-based resources to and on premises infrastructures, because it secures the data for private users, right? Because it secures the data for private users. Can you write one line definition of hybrid cloud? You could not write yesterday. Hybrid cloud is a combination of private cloud and public cloud, single line definitions. Hybrid cloud is a combination of private cloud and public cloud. It's a single line set definition. But why we want hybrid cloud? That is the question. Need to adapt and change. See, why we want a hybrid cloud? For example, yesterday also I explained you that is, for example, if your organization is a very big organization, for example, Johnson and Johnson or any HCL or IBM or any big, or Microsoft, anything, any big organization. For example, 50,000, 1 lakh people present in your organization, and your organization want, that is your VP, your CEO, or their data is not go to the cloud. Their mail is not present. Their mail will not go to the cloud. We want a high security for their mailbox, high security for their data, high security for their backup or anything. So on that conditions, what we need, what the company decided, that is we go to the hybrid cloud. Whatever some application is not supported, some application is dependency, some dependency for code, or some any application dependency or any dependency. So we go to the hybrid cloud. You purchase some space in private cloud, and rest thing you go to the public cloud. For example, 50,000 mailbox, some 45,000 mailbox on a public cloud, and rest 500 or 100 or 200 mailbox in private cloud. So when these type of things occurs, then company goes to the hybrid cloud. So we learn these three things, types of cloud. Right, security on specific resource in a private, remaining on public cloud. Rest, right, that is the answer. So these things we learned yesterday. Then the second thing we learned, that is services. So what we learned, that is services. What is services? What services provided by the service provider? This AWS. So services. Which type of services? There are three types of services. First is IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Structure. Yes. Anyone explain what is infrastructure service? We'll wait 1 or 2 minutes, or other, please explain what is infrastructure as service. Please try to explain what is infrastructure service. Recently, we have completed infrastructure service. Let's try to give the answer. What is infrastructure service? Yes, single line. Structure service. First, pay as you go. This is very good word. Pay as you go. Approach for storage. And then ask single line definition, single line explanation. So it is a very good sentence. Approach networking and virtualization. What is infrastructure service? Infrastructure service offers pay as you go. Pay as you go means whatever you utilize, only that much amount you need to pay. Pay as you go. Approach for storage, networking, and virtualization. Then just remove this. You don't need to manage the service of the party IaaS. Then PaaS is platform as service. Is service. What is platform as service? That is platform as a service. Single line definition, and then try to answer. Platform as service. What is platform as service in a single line? That is platform as a service provides. Let's try to answer. Provides services like if you want, you just write down this thing. This thing is very important sentence, so I'm writing here. Like hardware and software development tools available web and single line. Platform as a service provides services like hardware and software development tools available via web. This is called the platform as service. And third one is SaaS. What is SaaS? Yes, and we'll try to give the answer. SaaS. It is software service. Service. Yes. What is this software service? It's the full name, software service. But what is software service? Software service. Yes. We'll try to give the answer. Software as a service provides yes. Management complete software. So, for example, you are using a Gmail. what you are using. You will only take a login, password, and start Gmail. That's whatever Gmail, how Gmail handling, how Gmail store their server, how Gmail virtualize their server, how Gmail take a backup of email. That is their headache. That is their tension. We only use to utilize their service software as a service. Provide the highest degree of vendor management, providing complete software solution. This is a software service. So draw a diagram. You also draw this diagram in your notebook. Just use this. Yes. Yes. Full name you already know: infrastructure service, platform as service, and software service. Which is which AS? What is AS? Which AS we are using more in real with AS? IS? No. Mostly we are using is SaaS, software as service, and infrastructure as service. These two things are using mostly infrastructure, yes, infrastructure, and after that software as service. And after that platform as service. Mostly in market IS and then software as service. These two things is working. Okay, so full name we already done here. Yes. Structure. Is there any methodology to choose what sort of service fit for job? How? That is depend in your requirement. Your requirement we need to decide. That is mostly IS as a requirement. If you go to the cloud, IS is really requirement. Software service is also mostly requirement. For example, you can use a messaging, that is a online messaging, for example. That is you are not if you're not purchasing an on-premise exchange, if you're going Office 365, then your software service you're using. Then if you're purchasing if you are creating a virtual machine, if you're creating a virtual server, then you're using infrastructure service. If you are deploying any application, if you need to any tools, online tools for deploy your application, test your application, then you are using a platform as service. So depend upon your requirement, you need to decide that is how much infrastructure you want, how much software service you want, how much platform. These are the service, these are combination. Mostly in every company, these are combinations. Infrastructure and software as service is a 100% requirement, mostly in company, but platform as service depend upon your company requirement. Depend upon your company need, depend upon your company requirement. You need to decide that is how you design your infrastructure. So infrastructure as a service. Yes. Space. So whatever we will learn, and either you become an associate consultant, either you become a technical specialist, either you become a system engineer in cloud, all the things well going on these three services: infrastructure service, platform as service, and software as service. So what is the difference between that? The thing is that you in interview when you go and when interview asks you, that is which things you can manage and which things service provider will manage. This is very tough questions and big question. So I'm trying to explain you and try to draw the diagram here. You also draw this diagram in your notebook, and if you have any questions, any queries regarding that diagram, then ask me in chat or in call also, and Zoom call also. So infrastructure service, there are 6 to 7 points. That is, first is mostly if you read it, if you go in a Google, then also you find this thing. But I will explain this thing because this is very important questions in real life and cloud world. That is, first is called as a application. Color facility provided. Color. Application. Application here. See. So in infrastructure service, applications managed by you only. Or AWS will manage, or Microsoft will manage. Application managed by you only, infrastructure service, and in platform as a service. But in software as service, application will also managed by vendor. Or not vendor, in good word is service provider. Service provider will according to your ways, but you should learn this thing because this is very important. Your internet connection is unstable. Application. So red means that is you manage. This thing is very important. So red means manage each and service manage. So whatever I'm writing in red, that is you manage, and whatever the things, otherwise you write it blue here. Service provider manage. So in infrastructure, applications, platform as service, application managed by you, and software as service managed by service provider. Second thing is data. Data. This is some slow. You're saying that is pretty slow, but this is very important. So in futures, either you become a senior consultant, either you become technical specialist, either you become normal engineers, system engineers, any engineers. This thing is very important in cloud terms. What you manage and what service provider will manage. If you know this thing, then only you decide how how much you purchase from infrastructure, how much you purchase from software, how much as service, how much you purchase the thing from as a platform as a service. So this data is so data. So here also infrastructure service data will be managed by you, platform as a service, platform as service data is managed by you only. But here the things become change. Okay. So, change. So here this two line or any questions? Not getting which application and data, right? Very good question. Not getting which application and data, right? Application means what? What is application? And you can explain what is application? Any application. For example, you created a VB.NET program. For example, you create a Java. For example, you create any Java application, Java tools, any software, right? Very good. Software, any software, that is any applications you created in software, that is called as application. So in infrastructure as service, when you purchase infrastructure as service, when you go an infrastructure as service, software and application is managed by you. When you go to the platform, when you develop any application, application managed by you. Platform in AWS will not manage your application, but in software as service, everything is managed by AWS. So there is no headache, there is no tension. That is everything managed by AWS. In infrastructure data, what is data? Whatever the data present in that application, that is managed by you only in infrastructure service. And platform as service, yes, whatever the data present in that application, that is managed by you only. But in software as service, this is not. The third thing is that is a runtime. That is here. Runtime. Change. What is runtime? That is this applications, how the applications are running, how the application is compiling, that is managed by you only in infrastructure as service. But in platform as service, the service provider will give you the tools. Service provider will guide you. Service provider will help you how to compile the data, how to run your applications. So this is called as a platform as a service. Which services and which platform is very important as point of view of cloud computing. Right. That's I'm saying every services is important in cloud computing. You cannot say this is not usable. For example, if Gmail, why I will purchase a Gmail? Gmail had given you the free services. For example, if I want goes to the Microsoft Exchange, Office 365, why I create Exchange? Microsoft have given you the services, E1, E3, E5. Purchase a license, they will give you the mailbox size, they will take your backup, they will take your application, your database, they will manage. Why I have take a headache? Because so I will go to the software. But when we create, compile any applications, when we want, that is AWS will give me some tools. So I will compile that application. So I will run the compilation. Then I will purchase a platform as service. These are the services. So I will go to the platform as service. For example, but if you want to create a virtual machines, if I want to create a servers, if you want to do this infrastructure service, so I will, these are the services. These are tightly interact with each other. So when you become engineers, when you become system analyst, when you become a technical specialist, when you become a solution architect, then you can design your company requirement. Depend upon your company requirement, you need to decide how much you go to the SaaS, how much services you purchase from, you design from SaaS side, how much services you design from PaaS, how much services you design from IaaS. And depend upon your service you purchasing from the service provider, you pay the amount to that service provider. So in future lectures, when we design everything, then we go in a detailed parts. So in runtime infrastructure service, you will manage platform as service, AWS will manage, and in software as service, also AWS will manage. Next is middleware. What is middleware? Just try to give the answer. What is middleware? If anyone knows, the file middleware. Basically, how many types of application? How many types of application? Anyone give the answer of this thing? How many types of application? There is no proper answer of how many types of application. Application depends upon your code. Application depends upon your compilations. Application depends on which language you are using. So there is not application design depends upon your design. Ola is using, for example, Java, and Uber is using, for example, C++. So it depends upon your requirement, depends upon your conditions. The programmer will design your applications. Programmer will compile your applications. So it depends upon your requirement, depends upon your company requirement, application team will develop your application. For example, my requirement is very less. So why I take a large amount of SQL? Why I go to the Oracle? Why I'm not using IMS SQL? So depends upon your design, depends upon your cost factor, depend upon your budget. We decide which application, which languages you can use to develop your application. Right, database is a part of a middleware. What is a middleware? Middleware is a software that different applications use to communicate with each other. Right. It provides functionality to connect application intelligently and efficiently so that you can innovate faster. Middleware is a combination, intermediator, for example, simple language intermediator. So they can use a software that different applications use to communicate with each other. So it is called the middleware. The name also indicates that is called the middleware. So here middleware managed by you. So the color is red. Let's copy this. So here middleware managed by you only. Here middleware managed by DAS, or here middleware managed by SAS. So this is then operating system. OS, operating system. Everyone knows Azure what is operating system. So here so operating system. Now everyone knows what is operating system, right? Windows, Linux, Unix is not mostly using, but Unix is also operating system. Linux is operating system. Windows is operating system. In infrastructure service, OS is managed by you. You need to decide which OS you want, and platform as service they will manage, and in software as service they will manage. operating system. Next is virtualization. What is virtualization? Anyone know what is virtualization? If you clear your doubts in this diagram, so your basic will be clear, because whatever in futures you will learn, that depend only on this diagram. So I'm taking some time. So what is it? Virtualizations. What is virtualization? Any idea? What is virtualization? Just please try to give the answer if you know what is virtualization. Virtualization is the creation of virtual rather than actual version of something, such as server, desktop, storage device, and operating system or network resources. An example of virtualizations: if you've done, or if you have done any virtual, if you have created any virtual machines, you have done. Anyone knows? Anyone? vCenter, very good. vCenter, EC2, right? Hyper-V. Anyone have done Hyper-V? In Microsoft, Hyper-V, right? EC2, VMware, VM, right? This is a VMware. VMware is master, or you say, the champion virtualization. VMware, VirtualBox. Hyper-V for Microsoft. So Microsoft using Hyper-V technology for virtualization, and VMware, EC2, right? So this is called the virtualization. So virtualization is managed by, in IaaS also, virtualization is managed by service provider. Platform as service, virtualization is managed by service provider, and software as service also, virtualization is managed by service provider. In both the condition, virtualization is managed by service provider. You not need to manage. You only need to create a service. You need to decide which operating system you want. But how they have to create, how they have create your server in background, that they will decide. You only decide how much RAM you want. You need to decide how much storage you want. You need to decide how much partition you want. But how they are creating, that is their job, that they will decide in which storage, in which LANs, in which tracks they will provide you. That is, they will decide. So virtualization is decided by service provider. Any doubts, any questions, then please ask. Virtualization. After that, next is services. What is services? You try to give answer. What is services? Yes, please brief once. Yes, I will again brief you all the things, right? First we draw this diagram, then again from one by one, I will explain you all the things. What is services? Anyone know what is services? Yes, please try to give the answer. Providing IT resource such as storage, networking. Yes, good. So anyone try to give the answer. What is services? Web hosting. Very good. Storage, network, etc. Right. Same as above. Okay. For example, if you are creating, if you have experience to create a Windows server, if you have to create a domain controller, if you have created any Exchange server, if you have done, if you have not done, no issues. But if you have done these things, mostly here the someone is a freshers and limited people are experienced, so that is not an issue. But if you have done this type in background, lot of services is working behind that, right? Lot of service is working behind that. When you install Exchange server, lot of services is working behind on Exchange server. When you create a when you promote a domain controller, lot of services is working behind that domain controller server. So this is managed by service provider. Service provider will ensures you that every services will work properly. You have not any headache of that services. If the services is down, if services is not working, so service provider will responsible for that. That is why the services are not working on that computer. So in both cases, infrastructure service, platform as service, and software as service, service provider will have a responsible, will take a responsible for this thing, for services. So service provider will manage the services. And again, storage. Yes, what is storage? Yes, what is storage? It's a very simple question. What is storage? Block storage. Very good. What is storage? Yes, many people try to give the answer S3. Anyone? What is storage? HDD. Very good. HDD. What is HDD? Full name? What is the full name of HDD? Hard disk drive. Very good. Hard disk drive. This simple answer of storage is a very good answer already, but hard disk drive, storage. And behind that is learning, behind we have to take a storage, 100, 1 TB storage, 2 TB. That is a very technical term, but simple word is hard disk storage, where you store your data. So this is managed by, storage is managed by service provider. Service provider will manage your storage. They will decide that is on which lunch they will cut the storage and provided you, on which hard disk they will cut the storage and provided you. That is their headache. You only decide how much storage you want. How much, not SSD, it is SSD, right? So service provider will decide from where they will provide you the storage, right? Only you give the service provider that is, I want 100 GB space. I want 200 GB space on this Windows server or this Linux server, and then they will decide how they will provide you that 100 GB space. So storage is managed by the service provider. Any question? It's just networking. Still very good and tough thing. Everyone knows and everyone does not knows. This is thing. So what is networking? Yes, everyone try to give the answer what is networking, because I know everyone knows what is networking. From related to router and switch. Okay, what is networking? From AB, whenever you log in your computer, whenever you join your machine in a domain, whenever you open internet browser, whenever you type google.com, everywhere networking comes in picture, right? So networking is the alphabet of, say, in a computer world. Move packet from source to destination, networking. Anyone? Yes, everyone try to give the answer. See, actually, why I'm asking everyone, because I know that you people know that, but try to give the answer. If you give the answer, then only your confidence will build. If you know the things, but you not give the answer, that is you're afraid that is I'm saying wrong, there is no issues. to say whatever is present in your mind, because this is simple thing. This is not so much technical complex thing. What is networking? Everyone know what is network. LAN, local area network. Mostly people know what is local area network. Man, metropolitan area network. Everyone read this lot of articles. WAN, wide area network. This is networking. Router is network. Switches. What is switches done? What is? I'm not taking network interviews, but networking. Everyone knows what is networking. When we can connect one computer to the another computer, there is pictures comes in network. Right? Resource useful for network communication. Right? Group of PC connected over geolocation. Right? Anyone? Yes, all the answer is correct. Connecting to network by protocols. Protocols. What is protocol? Yes, what is protocol? Anyone try to explain what is protocol? Yes, set of rules. Yes, set of rules. That is ports. Ports. If you protocol set of rules defined by, for example, 80 ports, 25 ports. For example, if you go in a messaging part, 25 ports, SMTP ports, right? Protocol is a rules define how the packets goes from one computer to the other, or one destination goes to the destination. That is called as a protocol. So these are the networking. Networking is managed by NIS, managed by networking is managed by service provider. Platform as service, networking is managed by service provider, and in software as service also networking is exchange of information among people. Right. So this is exchange of information among people. That is technical. Okay, good. So networking and software as service also. This AWS is managed your networking parts. So let's start from the top. One person said that please explain again from start. So today, so yes, please try raise an hand and start this thing. IS in interview or in anywhere when you go to the next level, this concept will, if your 100, if your concept is clear on this points, then you explain anything regarding your cloud infrastructures. You decide to design how we can design your environment. But if you have not cleared this thing, then it is very difficult to design your infrastructure. So there is three service. There are three types of cloud: private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud. Private cloud, that is infrastructures you purchase. They have to give a dedicated case. They have to give you the dedicated racks, but their cost is very high. Then public cloud, their cost is less. Whatever the service you are purchasing from AWS, whatever the service you're providing from the Microsoft, they will only charge that much amount. Scalable feature is a very good feature that is given by the cloud provider. If you need to increase your servers, if you need to decrease your servers, you will immediately increase or decrease. So there is no headache. That is, for example, currently your company is only 10 people. In future, your company become 100 people. In future, your company become 1,000 people, 10,000 people, lakh of people. Then accordingly, you decide. Accordingly, you increase your laptop. Accordingly, you increase your desktop. Accordingly, you increase your servers. Accordingly, you decrease your servers. It depends upon your company requirement. For example, or you say that is this cab company, that is which is Ola or Uber. For example, today only 10 people log in, and tomorrow, for example, 100 people are logging, or 1 week after 1 lakh people are logging, whatever the things, this example only. So they will scale you the server and decrease also, increase also. So scalable features is very good features that will given by the service provider. So infrastructure, then hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is a combination of private cloud and public cloud. Why company go to the hybrid cloud? Because company wants some data in some secure location, some secure area, or some application dependency present. That is, if you go to migrate that application to the cloud, they will not working properly. But I have seen a lot of companies, there is application, there is some dependency in application that if you go to the, there's a lot of challenges coming. It's not say that is that application will not work, but there are a lot of challenges occurs in cloud. Lot of ports we need to open. So company decide that is we store this application in the on-premises or some VP or CEO level mailbox. We not need to deploy this mailbox in cloud, so they store their mailbox in on-premises. So for that purpose, company go to the hybrid environment. Then services. There is a three types of services: IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. Infrastructure service, platform as service, software. This is the name of it. In application, whatever software team will deploy your application, and whatever software present in infrastructures, you can manage, and platform you can manage, and software they will manage. Data infrastructure you will manage, platform as service you will manage, software as service they will manage. Runtime, whatever how the data is running, how the application is running, you will decide. And platform as service, they will decide, they will give you the tools, they will give you some online features, you deploy that applications and check that. In software as service, in software as service, everything they will decide. So there is no headache of software as service. And infrastructure middleware, that is, you will decide, and platform as service, they will decide, and software as service. In software service, everything they will decide. There is no headache of the software service. Only the things, IaaS and PaaS. Virtualizations, everyone know what is virtualizations? Virtualization, they will decide. They will decide from which data racks, from which case, from which racks, they will give you the servers. They will give you the Windows machine or Linux machine. They will decide. The same PS, they will decide. In software service, they will decide. You only need to decide that is how much amount of RAM you want, how much amount storage you want, how much CPU you want, which operating system you want, that is you will decide. Rest, how they will provide this thing, that they will decide. And from which rack they will give you, from which case they will give you, from which data center they will give you, they will decide. Then we go to the region, then we will explain you what is the region, how we set the locations, from which region you will purchase. Different regions have some different fluctuation cost. So that will on the different, we will explain in detail on the next lectures. So virtualization, they will decide. Services, different applications have different services want. For example, Exchange some different services, from AD some different services. So they will manage your services. Their job is to give you the uptime, SLA. Yesterday lecture, I will explain you what is SLA. So their headache, they will give you the SLA. If the SLA breach, they will give you the penalty, or you will charge. You will charge him. You will ask him that is your SLA is breached, so give me this much amount of penalty. That is a company contract. So it is a high level thing. SL. So services, they will manage. Storage, that is space, 100 GB space, 200 GB space, TV space, 1 TV, 200, 500 TV, that is, you will decide how much space you want, but from which LANs they will provide, from which hard disk they will provide, that is their headache. They will decide you, and they will give you. Only you will decide how much storage you want. For example, I want 100 TVs. So AWS will decide from which LANs they will give me the 100 TB, from which hard disk they will give me the 100 TB. I want 100 TB. My requirement in 100 TB, they will give you the 100 TB. Networking, you will decide which ports will open, which ports will not open, how many ports you want, what is your networking, which ports you want, which ports will not, depend upon your application, depend upon your mail flow. But they will decide from which routers, from how gateway, which gateway they will provide you, from which switches they will provide you. See, actually in background, everything is physical. So don't assume that is everything is virtualized, everything is cloud. Cloud is something that is only service provider come in picture. On the background, everything is physical, but in physics, previously what we are doing, previously we go to the service provider, what we are paying. Previously we go to the vendor, and vendor asks that is, I want this requirement. Yesterday we give the example of Ratnakar Bank. For example, when I am deploying Ratnakar Bank project, so Ratnakar Bank give all their project to the NetMagic. So Ratnakar Bank IT team, senior IT team comes in a NetMagic and ask him that is, I want this much Windows server, I want this one Exchange server, this is storage, this much network we want. So NetMagic will provide them all the things, and NetMagic give the charge, that is this much charge for 1 year. Here also the same thing, but the picture is that here is a scalable features they will introduce. That is, if your requirement is less, we will charge you less. If your requirement is high, we will charge you high. Everything is cloud, they will create. If your requirement is less port, we will charge you less port amount. If you increase, if your data, if your storage increase in features, we will provide you big storage or high storage, and we will charge accordingly. So this thing is comes, so cost become less, right? Middleware. What is middleware? Middleware is a software that different applications use to communicate with each other. Means, for example, if two applications, there is some dependency of that. For example, compilation, if you have a programming language or C language, C++ language, so compiler, I'm not going detail, but little bit I have to give you, because if you do any project or if you have run and create any VB project or C++ project, normal C program project, so there is a compiler type of thing. That is when we run to C++ compile your program, right? The same thing, little bit middleware. Middleware is a software that different applications use to communicate with each other, interact with each other, and it provides functionality to connect application intelligently and efficiently so that you can innovate faster. Means what? You can work faster. So it is called as a middleware, means intermediator. Simple language, if you ask anyone what it is, so it is an intermediator between two applications. Any doubts, any questions regarding this diagram? Yes, no, no. Okay, so when okay. Which example? Middleware or key services? Okay, yesterday also I had given you example, but yes, you people give me the answer. Try to give me the answer of these three services. Please try. Otherwise, I will give you no issues. Say that is I'm not giving. Yes, I will give you the answer, but you people try. Because yesterday I will also explain. Today also I will. Yes, SAS Gmail. Yes, SAS is a Gmail. What you are using in Gmail? Nothing. You go to the Gmail, create an account, and wherever you world you go, you just gmail.com, then username, password. How Gmail manage your mail, how Gmail manage their data, how Gmail manage their storage, I don't know. You don't know, right? This is a software service, right? Very good example. Software service, Gmail. Infrastructure service. Infrastructure is service. Infrastructure, that is the AWS, Amazon Web Service, Microsoft Azure. This is the infrastructure service. They will create application. They will provide you the storage. They will provide you the network. They will provide you the networking. So this is the example of infrastructure as service. Platform as a service, very good. AWS, GCP, Azure. This is the infrastructure. Yes, platform as service. Yes. What is platform as service? Anyone? Platform as service? Platform as service, Windows Azure. Windows Azure is a platform. If you know Microsoft Azure, I don't know, most people work. Here is what Microsoft Azure or not Microsoft Azure. In Azure, we have created DC. In DC means what? Domain control. In Azure, you create a users. In Azure, you create a policies. This is a platform as service. So these are the example of platform as a service. PDF editor. So these are the platform as service. Okay, so next Saturday we'll again meet. Then I will show you the private cloud, and after that, everything we will work on the public cloud. Okay, thank you everyone. Thanks for your time. Thank you. Middleware, everyone right? Middleware just okay. Otherwise, we need to delete. Okay, no issues. Next session I will again. Otherwise, we need to delete all the things. Otherwise, in single line, if possible, middleware. Everyone ask middleware. Just wait. I'm writing a definition of middleware. Fine. Yes. Middleware. So middleware, what is middleware? Middleware is a software, single line definition I'm writing, that different is to it with single line definition. Middleware is a software that different application used to communicate with each other. Okay, thank you for your time.